Okay, I just got word that the next run, AxlThunder, is ready to go. Take it away, AxlThunder.
All right. So yes, AxlThunder. All right. We good to countdown? All right. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So this is AxlThunder. You race boats on the water and you have boost fuel pickups scattered around. But here in Speedrun Land, it's not so simple. Here on the boat selection screen, Blowfish is my boat of choice because it's super fast and is the most versatile, as we'll see. So when a track loads in, there's going to be a 3-second countdown before the race begins, and you get some extra boost fuel if you perform a certain sequence of inputs during it. I'm going to talk out my inputs as I'm doing them. Reverse, gas, half reverse, gas. I'll explain the half reverse later, but for now there's the driving tech. You can take advantage of Blowfish's high acceleration to reduce your boost usage. To manage your boost by intermittently tapping it upon reaching top speed. Your speed will vary, but the gains are massive. Additionally, you can use even less boost by utilizing the drag reduction angle. So wherever your speed is traveling, just stay to the little bit to the left and a little bit to the right of it, or a little bit to the right of it, and the water won't drag on your speed as much. So, next thing is the hydro jump. You brake and boost to perform it. The manual tells you to let go of the gas, but you don't have to. But the hydro jump allows you to do a lot of things. So while you're boosting in the air, the speed cap is not the same as it is on the water. So you can boost in the air with chain multiple jumps to build up a lot of speed. What's more, you can buffer the jump by performing the sequence of inputs shortly before you land on the water to make it go off on the very first frame. And another thing is that when you're within the drag reduction angle, a quick flick of the steering before a jump will allow you to gain a small speed boost, and we call that a shift jump. So the hydro jump has a lot more utility, and that will be demonstrated in Lost Island, the next track. So yes, so about this leaderboard screen, it has to scroll to the top before it lets you move past it. Okay, so Lost Island. So when you're boosting in the air, if you are turned enough in the air, your speed direction, the direction of your speed will actually start turning as well. And combine that with chaining hydro jumps, and you'll be able to do this coming up shortly after the track begins. So I'm just going to do a very specific setup here. So you can take a turn that's wide or light enough, completely in the air. Oh, I missed that booster. That's not good. So I'm just gonna get into the shortcut. Should be good once I touch this. Okay. So it's not, but it's not so simple as it looks to like take turns in the air. There's a certain point in which if you turn too far, oh, that's not good. If you turn too far, you'll be locked out of your ability to jump. So when doing these air turn jump chains here. Oh, I ran out of boost. You'll often have to like steer very quickly steer back to within being able to jump so you can then jump again. Yeah, unfortunately just missing a lot of boost is very bad. So, but now I'm good on boost. So, this game has a mechanic where if you're going the wrong way for too long, it will forcibly turn you back around to where you're supposed to be going. But it does something else that is pretty interesting, and hopefully I'll be able to show that off in the next track. So, Arctic Circle. Don't let the fact that this is an easy track fool you. In the speedrun world, this is the hardest track in the entire game. One single mistake in several spots will cost you seconds. The fastest route also gives you not a lot of boost to run with. So, just once we get into it, because load times. I might have skipped over something because I'm ahead of where I usually would be in the commentary. So yeah. Alright. So almost immediately after the track begins, there's going to be a shortcut that goes over. There's going to be a very steep ramp that serves as a shortcut. I'm going to attempt to jump over this steep ramp and land on a much flatter ramp that gives me a speed boost. And so what about that wrong way turnaround quirk? So when the wrong way turnaround activates, it carries your speed along with the turn. So yeah, that is very exploitable. So we have this speed coming out of the tunnel. Gonna try to maintain it coming out of it through this much smaller tunnel. And now the most brutal part of the track is over. So yeah, that is so now I'm just going to take things in a slightly more standard way. Something I haven't mentioned yet is that you can do a higher jump by performing the hydro jump inputs just after you land on the water. Oh, whoops. Turned too much. That Arctic Circle went really well. Alright, so Greek Isles. This is the straightest track in the game, and that can be taken full advantage of. If all is done well, you spend the least time on the water out of every track in the game, serving as the shining example of how much the speedrun goes against the entire reason this game is called AxlThunder. Much of what's factoring into my time in Greek Isles is going to be in the second half, where there is a long downward slide that can give you a lot of speed, and you have to maintain that for quite a long time. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. But in the meantime, for about 30 seconds, if the host has anything to add, now will be a good time.
Oh, for sure. First and foremost, shoutouts to Helix for the raid. Welcome everyone. And for those who are very unfamiliar with SS4C, we are a speed running marathon geared towards, raising stuff for charity. We've benefited, St. Jude's, Equality Texas, and a multitude of quite a few charities. So be sure to get those donations in. So there are a couple of targets that are still open. One of which is the let me see if I can pull that up, is the Pac-Man Championship Edition, which will be adding DLC time trials to the run, and that goal is set to $100. And there is a paper ball champion bonus run. Most likely that'll happen towards the end of the run as well. So that goal is set for $125. So this is a pretty cool run. So yeah, this is a pretty cool run so far. So yeah, hope you all are enjoying yourselves.
All right, so that Greek Isles went way better than it normally does. So that is so that's something. So yeah, the next track, Lake Powell, is not as intense as the last three tracks. It's kind of a breather in that sense, but no track in this game is to be slept on because of the water driving tech and how it works. It's effectively like 3 to 4 constant variables that you have to keep track of. Maximizing your speed with the least amount of boost usage and using it as aggressively as possible in the air so you can build up speed when possible. And then there's your angle, whether you're in the air or on the water. But this track doesn't really have anything new going on besides all the 180-degree turns. So for the next minute and a half, if the host has anything to add, this will be a good time.
Oh wow! Oh wow! More things.
Yeah, this game calms down a lot in the second half.
I like that. And just for a quick conversation, this game it's kind of like Mario Kart but in the water. And I actually kind of looked this up for like a couple of seconds, and apparently this used to be an arcade game.
Yes.
And I'm seeing this being ran on the Dreamcast. Shout out to the Sega Dreamcast, by the way.
Yes. So yeah,
yes.
this was one of those arcade to Dreamcast ports. So it was ported to several other systems in its day.
Definitely, for sure. And you wouldn't mind me talking just a little bit about the organization that we're benefiting, real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. There's still a good bit of
Awesome.
time before the next track starts. About a minute.
Awesome. So LEAD is a substance use prevention organization that believes young people are capable of making good decisions. The core reason LEAD exists is to significantly reduce drinking, drug use, and other risky behavior by youth, while working simultaneously to eliminate the root causes of these issues in the future. To learn more, go to linkingefforts.com. And as a bonus, LEAD has a mental health text for help hotline, which is the only youth-focused mental health crisis hotline in the U.S. that is available 24/7, fully anonymous, and staffed by licensed mental health counselors. Which, in this day and age, very important that we are actually consulting someone who is licensed to basically help us with our problems. So to find out more, go to linkingefforts.com/text-for-help-app.
Alright, so this is where it heats up again. The Far East is the second hardest track in the game within the speedrun realm. Mostly for two specific sections. So in some versions of the game, not all of them, there is this little cave shortcut. Well, all of them have it, but inside this little cave shortcut at the very beginning of the track, there is a very interesting property that it has. Hopefully I'll be able to show it. So there's the tunnel. There's the tunnel right there. I could have got a lot more speed from that, but it's all about maintaining contact. But yeah, that gives a substantial speed boost. It could be, if I maintained full contact with that, I'd be going more than twice as fast. So the second thing is there's the second shortcut shortly up ahead. Now, and there's a speed boost you can get from this, but unfortunately, it's contained in a very small section at the very beginning, and unfortunately I didn't hit it. So now another reason that Far East is so hard is the low availability of boost, and I activated for that a little too late. We call those redirects, by the way. Alright. So, despite that the run is entering the hard tracks, this is actually where the intense stuff calms down quite a bit. There's still going to be some stuff here, some stuff there, but nothing nearly on the level of Arctic Circle or the Far East. So I'm not going to have a lot to mention for much of the rest of the run, except for little quips here and there. So, Ship Graveyard is one of the more straightforward tracks in the run. It doesn't have a whole lot going on besides some jump chaining, a couple of redirects if you want to do some IL strats. So, for the whole of this track until we get to Venice Canals, if the host has anything to add, now will be a good time. Also, I see just one last thing though. I see trans rights being redeemed in the chat. Trans rights.
Trans rights. So far, nothing new. But again, I'd like to remind you all that there are 2 targets that are currently open. One of which is the Pac-Man DLC Time Attack added to the run, and next is the Paper Ball Champion bonus incentive. So, yeah, just a little bit more time to get your donations in towards one or the other, maybe both, preferably both.
Yeah.
Oh, and lastly, go lead.
Ah, I got it that time. Last time, the game lagged a little bit there, and it screwed me up. All right.
I just have one question about the difference. I guess the game differences since this apparently released on multiple platforms. What makes the Dreamcast? Oh, actually, well, what made you run the Dreamcast version over, like, say, the N64 version?
The load times gave a lot more wiggle room for commentary.
Ah, makes sense.
Because if I was playing on, say, the PC version, which has pretty much instant load times, the gameplay would fall behind the commentary so much quicker.
Oh, wow.
The Nintendo 64 version is also a pretty good option too, because if you're playing on real hardware, it doesn't run at full speed most of the time. So that in and of itself is
Makes sense.
pretty useful for commentary. So yeah, Venice Canals.
Yeah.
If you played this game before, you probably know this track well. The twists and bends in Venice Canals are unlike any of the other tracks in the game. Pretty narrow overall on top of that. A true test of your cornering abilities if you want a fast time. Like that right there. I missed that, but thankfully I have a backup. I missed the backup! Whoops! This is just a demonstration of how of how much slower things get when things go wrong. It's a pretty brutal game when you miss too much boost. Despite that, I did not lose as much time as I thought I would. Alright. Oh yeah, the PS1 version is also has, like, the load times are a little bit, the load times are somewhat comparable to the Dreamcast, so that would also be a good version for commentary. But yeah, there's when it comes to like the different versions of the game, there are quite a bit of version differences. Most of them are minor, but there are a couple in particular that are more major ones. The Far East is a particular example of a track that has very different strats on the PlayStation 1 version compared to all the others. PlayStation 1 version is just it's kind of its own beast in the sense that those redirects that you've been seeing, like Crasher's saying in the chat right now, you can't do those on PS1.
Oh, no.
Because of a fundamental difference in the way the game handles the timer for activating it. Like in all the other versions, the timer runs while in the air, but in the PS1 version, it only runs while you're on the water. So PS1 movement is pretty much all about just using everything else that you have and using it to its maximum potential. I should also mention about the Hydra jump. So you can do a lower jump like I've been doing, but after you jump, you have 4 frames to cut your jump height by releasing either brake or boost. That was learned pretty recently through by reverse engineering the game. Oh. Alright. So, we're in the final stretch. The bonus tracks are mostly circuits, except for one, which is the final track. So I didn't mention this all the way back in Thunder Park because there was so much to talk about. But each booster pickup can only be grabbed once, and you can't grab too much because if you get a booster that adds more than the free space you have in your tank, that extra boost is gone forever. We jokingly call that the max of shame. Oh yeah, so about that half reverse I mentioned earlier. So in most of the console versions, the alignment for the internal value that controls your gas and brake is off. It's biased more towards the rear of the range. So when you're giving no input, it sits at around a quarter on the gas, actually. I'm not really sure why at the moment, but there might actually be an answer soon, but not right now. So in order to pop off the start like I did, you have to have the throttle sitting perfectly neutral at certain points during the countdown. So, you pretty much just have to hold the reverse down a little bit, so that the throttle actually goes into neutral, and then the game registers it properly. I collected the boosts a little bit wrong, but it's okay. I guess as I mentioned, a fun fact about Castle Von Dandy, this track is present in the original arcade version, but it's inaccessible because it's in a heavily unfinished state. So the next track, Hydro Speedway, this was a hidden track on the original arcade version, along with all the bonus category boats, including Blowfish, the one I'm driving. So to access Hydro Speedway on the arcade version, you move on over to Lake Powell and hit one of the camera buttons on the left side 3 times. Yeah, and there's also a test track as well, just hidden there in the data. You can get it to load with some modification. Oh, missed that boost. Another interesting note about Hydro Speedway is that so all other circuits have at least 3 plus 9 boosters. This circuit only has 2. So boost is a little bit more scarce in comparison to the other versions. Oh, to the other tracks. I think I activated that too late. Yes, I did. This pesky little boost right there, because of the moving cycle, very difficult to get on a run. I think I also just missed that one too, so I'm kind of in trouble. Watch me accidentally... Oh, whoops. Yep. That pesky booster right there. Alright. One more track before the finale. Oh, one more track before the final track. This is like the penultimate track. I'm glad that Noah's...
Got time for a quick last-minute announcement?
Oh, yeah.
Before we get into
Catacomb doesn't have anything new going on.
Sure, okay. Nothing much has happened, but you still have quite a bit of time before until the Pac-Man championship. Oh wait, never mind. That's 3 days from now. Looks like. But in any case, you still have time to get in to meet the target for the Pac-Man Championship Edition, as well as the Paper Ball champion bonus run. I take that back. I lied. There's not much time. Not 3 days. I'm just like I'm reading it wrong. So, again, get those donations in. You are benefiting a very, very important cause, and also be sure to support the many blocks and many good runners of this marathon, and also special shout outs to SS4C. Like, they're amazing. They're awesome. Axel, you're awesome. Really awesome game that we're seeing here as well. So, let's keep everything going.
Also, if anyone had a very keen eye, the speedometer, much of the HUD's up display has been kind of flashing a little. I don't know why that happens. It just sometimes happens when a track loads in. The light levels, like the lighting stuff for it, something is happening. I don't know what it is. Whoops. Well, that is a pretty small gap to squeeze on through. And yes, I did indeed just max of shame there when I grabbed that last +9. Oh. Alright, next up, final track in the run, Nile Adventure. It has a little bit of almost everything you've learned in the game, and what it adds on top of that is endurance. This is the longest track in the game by quite a large margin. It even has the one make or break point where if you miss a shortcut, you're gonna lose like 10 plus seconds. So, hopefully that doesn't happen here. But yeah, the fastest time that has ever been performed on Nile Adventure, just to put it into perspective against the other tracks, is about 2 minutes and 29 seconds. But it's 27 seconds actually on the PS1 version. That's the PB on that's the time on the PC version. Alright. So coming up after the second checkpoint is going to be the point where I need to hit the thing, or I lose a lot of time. By the way, the reason why I keep beating my best segment times, and they're all like, and some of them are like 3:45:66, is because when you save your game to the memory card, your track segment times are not saved, only the track times themselves. Alright, there we go. Yeah, it gives you a massive speed boost, and you're just going. And bam, you're in the lead. If you're playing as Blowfish on the arcade version, this is actually incredibly difficult to hit because Blowfish jumps lower on the arcade version. Alright, just gonna focus here because those edges out of the wall are very unfun if you hit them. Alright. But yeah, your track segment time's not saving. It's thankfully a Dreamcast only thing. All other versions save your track segment times. Trying to keep no, that's not good. Oh, ouch. a lot of speed lost. Like a lot of that area, the land in the middle is kind of like sloped slightly, so it can be kind of difficult to keep your trajectory consistent. Oh. Alright, time's coming up when I hit the finish line. And time.
GG.
So yeah, that was AxlThunder, the boat where it's the game where it's faster to go in the air than actually driving on the water.
AxlThunder. Choose your track.
So yeah, I guess that'll be it from me.
So quick plugs.
Oh yeah. So I just want to shout out the AxlThunder community. We are small. There aren't many of us, but we are very passionate about the game. We love it very much. Some very specific people I want to shout out are Influx, JBF Crasher, Oxalin, Game Draco. Yeah. We have a Discord if this what you've seen interests you. So yeah, that's it.